choose a mode. Story mode. Which story do you... Moroku and Sango's chapter.
I'm Miroku. I am on a journey to bring down Naraku in an effort to end the curse of the Wind Tunnel Hand passed down to me from my grandfather's generation. I refuse to stand by and watch as Naraku uses dirty tricks and plays on people's weaknesses to carry out his evil deeds. Sango and I will do whatever it takes to defeat him. Or at least that's what I had planned to do.
I am gonna finish this once and for all, Koga!
What are you yapping on about, Muttface? Kagome and I love each other, so why don't you just butt out?
Love each other?
Yeah, what? I'll prove it! You wanna fight?
Would you look at that? Those two are at it again.
Shut up!
Let them be, Sango. It's stressful not being able to find any clues that lead to Naraku. A little scrap might not hurt once in a while.
Besides, you have another woman, namely Kikyo. I won't give Kagome to a womanizer who's just like that monk there.
What? Don't compare me to that lech Moroku.
Just because I hold my tongue doesn't mean you can insult me. That's it, the two of you have crossed the line. I'm gonna fix your attitude so you won't talk like that anymore.
Cool, so for Moroku and Sango's chapter, we're going to be playing exclusively as Sango. And the reason for this is because Sango has a giant fucking boomerang that we can throw with the X button. It's the projectile that reaches the farthest, I believe, and it deals unreasonable amounts of damage. So what we're going to do is just stay in the background and keep throwing it until everyone's dead. And that will work. It will. Sango's boomerang is fucking useless in multiplayer, and it would be equally useless here if the AI ever saw it coming and actually blocked it. But they don't do that. I assume because the developers knew that her boomerang would be useless if they did block it. While her boomerang is out of her hands, she can use other moves, but we're probably not going to need to do that until the final battle, or around there at least. You could definitely beat Sango and Moroku's story entirely just by spamming the boomerang button. I've done that before. So yeah, remember how I said you really want to pick one combo and stick with it? Well, in Sango's case, you really just want to pick one button and press that. Just over and over whenever the boomerang comes back. Sango's special attack is also her boomerang, and she throws it in basically the exact same arc. So it's still really easy to hit the AI with it. It's kind of depressing. The only downside to playing as Sango is that Moroku is going to die a lot, but that's not important. You figure it might be slightly important, but no, we're just going to use him as a meat shield, because that's what he's best for in this situation. Really not something you should worry about. And I mean, even if we wanted to help him, we're already doing what's best right now. Trying to actually run in there and help him would just end up getting us hurt, and we don't want to get hurt because we're the primary character. We're the one that wins the game. It's one of the rare instances here of the AI, the enemy AI, actually getting to use one of their special attacks. Not that it matters. If we were playing as Moroku, we would have to think more about what we're doing just a bit. But we don't. And that's okay. You know, I already established this game is not for thinking. That's not why you play this.
Listen, you two, give up this fighting and be done with it.
He says while feeling me up. You perverted monk! I'm not gonna take this from you anymore!
That's right, Moroku, you lecher.
Now, wait, ladies! This wind tunnel is a horrible curse that will one day swallow me up. I don't know how long I'll live. It's a terrible burden for one man to bear, but before my inevitable demise, it's my duty to find a woman to bear my child.
If you think that's going to excuse your actions, then you've got another thing coming, Moroku.
Come on, Sango. Let's teach this monk a lesson he'll never forget.
Say no more. Prepare to die, you insolent monk.
Yeah, Moroku, prepare to die. So I assume the reason for this chapter is either because they wanted to force you to play as Sango, because they assumed the player would pick Moroku by default, and they also wanted them to get the hang of Sango, or they just wanted to pad out Moroku and Sango's story for filler. Or both. You could be killing two birds with one stone here. Anyway, this fight with Moroku is easy, even by this game's standards. There are at least a couple of fights later that have some vague nuances. Nothing dangerous, but at least it's something. Assuming you're playing as Sango, at least. So yeah, strategy for this fight, same as the last one. Stay in the background, press X, wait for the boomerang to return, press X again. You may think it would be bad to play as two ranged characters like this, but we can just make Kagome our meat shield, similar to how we made Moroku our meat shield in the last match. I don't like how long Sango's special attack animation takes. It's not fun enough to watch to warrant that. The animations in some other anime fighting games are longer, but they're usually more fun to watch. You know, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. The regular attacks in this game are plenty fun to watch, and some of the special attacks are fun to watch, like the Backlash Wave. But some of them take too long. Yeah, Moroku, use that wind tunnel on Kagome. Do that. That makes perfect sense.
Do you get it now, perverted monk?
I'm sorry.
Moroku, I think somebody's nearby.
It seems that way. Come out of there! We know you're trying to hide.
Surprise.
Kagra.
Kohaku, why are you here?
A family fight to the death. Get going, Kohaku.
So Inuyasha, at least the anime, had like a really large fan base of people who like wanted to live in the Inuyasha universe and created self-insert characters. And I can kinda get why, because there's a lot of cool protagonists that it seems like it might be fun to hang around, you know, a lot of waifu and husbando material. But at the same time, Inuyasha's really fucked up. The anime is way less fucked up than the manga, granted, but it's a really fucked up place. And even though things mostly seem to work out for the main characters, it's kinda horrifying. A lot of horrifying stuff happens. I guess they just didn't think about that part, or they didn't care, because they assumed they would be the most main character, and thus nothing bad could happen to them. You find significantly less people wanting to live in, say, the Evangelion universe, I think. Maybe it really is just the main characters in Inuyasha are that appealing that everybody wants to be around them. Maybe they just have that quality. Maybe that's why the show was so popular in the first place. Either way, there are two whole JRPGs built around the idea of playing as a self-insert character in the Inuyasha universe. The first one is The Secret of the Cursed Mask, wherein you choose a boy or girl character and end up in a very similar situation to Kagome, and you join her in Inuyasha on an adventure. And it's just kind of cheesy. I can say they tried though. Some of the music is genuinely nice, and they tried their best to make the narrative work in spite of the concept being a huge marketing gimmick to tap into all those fanboys and fangirls that made self-insert characters.
Wait, Kohaku!
After him, Sango.
Stop, Kohaku! Wait!
I can smell Naraku on this boy. Don't get in my way, or I'll kill you people too, right here.
That's not going to happen. Sango, we have to do whatever we can to stall him.
I'll take you on, says Shomaru.
Secret of the Cursed Mask had some artistic stuff going for it too, like there were illustrations by Rumiko Takahashi, and she also designed the two self-insert characters. Their designs are very bland, but you know, at least she made them. The other JRPG though, the second one, in the self-insert Inuyasha duology, is Secret of the Divine Jewel. And you may notice the title is very similar. I think it's kind of meant to be a spiritual successor to Secret of the Cursed Mask. The concept is very similar. Just like the first game, it follows a blatant self-insert character who gets dropped into the Inuyasha universe and meets Inuyasha and all of his friends and goes on an adventure. The difference in Secret of the Divine Jewel, though, is that they distinctly say that the main character is American. She's very blonde and pretty. She always seems to say and do the right things. And she's just even more blatant self-insert material than any of the characters in Secret of the Cursed Mask. It's kind of embarrassing. Even more embarrassing is that Secret of the Divine Jewel was American only. Cursed Mask came out in Japan and America. Secret of the Divine Jewel made exclusively for American audiences. And it's not very good. Secret of the Divine Jewel was clearly made on a shoestring budget, and it's unfairly extended by the encounter rate. It has one of the most insane encounter rates of any JRPG I've ever seen. It makes what would be like a 5-hour adventure 10 to 20 hours. Of course, when I was younger, I didn't give a shit. You know, because I was younger. The game was playable, so I played it. I got lost, though, and that's why I stopped. Anyway, Moroku sucks at fighting Sesshomaru for some reason. Sesshomaru seems to be a hard counter to Moroku, and I'm not sure why. But either way, we still won, so it doesn't really matter.
Moroku, where's Kohaku?
He must have gone to the castle during our fight. Let's go after him.
It's
It's all over for you, Naraku.
I'm surprised you made it this far.
I'm going to put an end to my wind tunnel curse right here.
Naraku, I'm going to defeat you and take my brother Kohaku back. You're through.
Back when I first played Secret of the Divine Jewel when it was, like, brand new, I didn't understand the fucking concept of a self-insert character. I didn't get what those were back then. So the story seemed fine to me. But then I played it again years later and I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. It really shouldn't have been called Inuyasha, The Secret of the Divine Jewel. It should have been called Janice, Secret of the Divine Jewel, featuring Inuyasha. The main character's name is Janice, by the way. Janice is the center of the story. She tells most of the story by herself, and the main quest revolves around her. To make things even more insulting, while I wouldn't call the enemy designs in Secret of the Divine Jewel cute or anything, they're significantly more harmless looking than the monsters that actually appear in Inuyasha. It's one of those games where I want to know exactly how it was commissioned, like every part of the process behind it, because it was made exclusively for American audiences, and it was made with the same mindset as Secret of the Cursed Mask, just more blatant about it. And it obviously had a lesser budget. I just really want to know the specifics behind the development cycle there, because I think that would be immensely interesting.
Well, Naraku, it ends here.
You actually think you've won? I'll show you the destruction I'm capable of.
Alright, Sango. This is it. Can you keep going?
Yes, Moroku.
The reason I'm bringing up these games now is because, well, there's not a lot to talk about in Sango and Moroku's story, and secondly, I'm not going to play those games on the channel. I don't really do that, don't really play JRPGs on the channel. I tried once, and I had to stop, not because, not because I couldn't finish it, but because I couldn't make it as informative as I wanted. I should bring up, while we're on the subject of other Inuyasha games, that there is no Inuyasha hack and slash, to my knowledge. I tried to find one, but it just doesn't seem to exist. There doesn't seem to be one. And that's so bizarre to me, because that would fit with the license so much better than a fighting game or JRPG. When I think Inuyasha, I don't think turn-based JRPG. I don't think most people would. It's not strictly an action show, but when there is action, a turn-based JRPG doesn't come to mind. That's not to say you can't make a good Inuyasha turn-based JRPG. You could probably make a good Inuyasha card game. You could probably make a good Inuyasha any genre something. But, I'd still like to have seen a hack and slash, which seems like the genre Inuyasha was made for. And I would be playing that right now. Not that I hate playing this, I like playing this, it's good to relax with, but I describe this game as very okay. It's a very okay video game. The critical reviews about this one actually aren't that stupid. Mostly they point out that the game is very short and very simplistic, called a button masher, which, in this case, maybe is closer to the truth. I still wouldn't call it a button masher. But it's more of a button masher than other games I've seen people call button mashers. The overwhelming critical consensus for this game, though, is surprisingly accurate and tame. Everyone just says this game is too simple and doesn't have enough to offer. And that's fair. The game mechanics are incredibly simple and probably won't please people who are explicitly looking for a new fighting game. That's a fair criticism. It probably would have also sucked to spend full price on it. But I still pick it up and play it from start to finish every couple years or so, just because it's relaxing to play.
The wind tunnel, it actually disappeared.
We did it, Moroku!
I have finally broken my cursed link to Naraku. So, Sango, now that we've defeated Naraku, what are your plans?
It's not completely over yet.
You mean Kohaku. I wonder where he went.
Kohaku...
Say, Sango, why don't we journey together?
Huh?
And that way we can look for your brother Kohaku as we travel. I'm certain we will eventually be able to find him.
Are you sure you're okay with that, Moroku?
Yes, of course I am, Sango. Once we find Kohaku, we can find a place to live together. For all three of us.
Huh? Moroku, do you mean...
You have my promise that I will take care of you forever, Sango.
Hey, get your hands off there! You idiot!
Ah!